Okay, so the president tweeted this yesterday, and I want to share this with you in case you missed it. It's an important couple of tweets. We just presented the concept and parameters of the border security deal by hardworking Senator Richard Shelby, looking over all aspects, knowing that this will be hooked up with lots of money from other sources. We will be getting almost $23 billion for border security, regardless of wall money. It is being built as we speak. Now, I don't know what that $23 billion is he's referring to. I need some clarification. Maybe my next guest can help me. Byron Henry's here, an attorney, chief and stone, and a regular contributor to the program. Byron, welcome back.
Great to be with you.
So we've got this deal put together, but a lot of folks, obviously, Ann Coulter's in a tizzy, but then when isn't she? You've got people on the right that don't like it because it offers about $1.4 billion to build 55 miles of wall. It also caps just slightly the number of beds available for criminals that we round up here. And, so I don't understand that. Why would the Democrats not want to have bed space for the criminals that get jammed up at the border? They just want to turn loose in America. So I'm trying to sort all this out. And the $23 billion that Trump refers to in his tweet, where is that coming from? Can you help me?
Well, as we remember, Steve, months ago, I think we may have spoken that Trump had charged his staff, cabinet, everyone to find out where there was money available that could be
redirected
border security, including building a fence. So that's probably what he's talking about. He's probably got other sources of funds he intends to put with whatever money he can get from Congress.
So that's a pretty smart idea. If he's redirecting funds that have already been allocated, and he's redirecting them from this department, that department, and every other department, that'd be good. That'd be smart use of the resources, wouldn't it?
Yeah, except that the problem is that if he shut down the government, if the government was shut down, whoever you blame it on, and he had funds he could have reallocated to build the fence back then why didn't he just do it then instead of waiting for $1.4 billion for border fencing in this bill? I suspect that he's probably overstating his ability to actually use $23 billion strictly for border security. He's probably talking about general overall security measures, but even still, it is a smart idea, and it is within his prerogative if Congress has already allocated the money and given him discretion.
Well, he can still claim a victory here. Nancy Pelosi said she wouldn't give $1 for a border wall. She did, 55 miles worth, so there's a victory there. The notion that walls are immoral are silly. If that were true, Gavin Newsom would be in San Diego right now bulldozing the wall that separates San Diego from Mexico, so we know how dumb that is. And so my advice is, no, it's not a great deal. It's not where you start. Take the money, start the construction of that 55-mile stretch, because you've got other stretches that are under construction right now already. It's not like there's nothing going on. There is construction happening now. It's not happening simultaneously, but you continue with this and you build that and you go forward. I think and then take the next bit of money when you get it, don't you think?
That's right. Washington, as you know, we've talked about this many times. It's not a one-party rule, and President Trump, regardless of what the left may say, is not a monarch, and he doesn't think he is. He goes with the system. The system is going to give him almost $1.4 billion to build more fencing and continuing the fencing that he's doing now, and that's a victory. Plus, there's tons of other border security measures that are put in place by this, which is also just, a lot of that's important too. I know the wall has become a signature thing for President Trump, but there's other border security measures, and the Border Patrol has said they could use money for other things too. And I don't know if you've heard this, but there's a lot of people thinking about helping privately fund the wall. And of course, recently, Texas filed a bill. A couple House members down here in the Texas legislature filed a bill to use some of the money in Texas's rainy day fund to contribute to building more border fencing.
$2.5 billion.
President Trump could get the money.
Yeah, $2.5 billion from Texas. While California is vacating its border and its governor's pulling back the National Guard, the California National Guard there, which makes a lot of sense. California is broke. Everybody knows it. It's full of disease. You've got disease running rampant in different cities. You've got 25,000 intravenous drug users in San Francisco and a total of 15,000 high school kids. You've got more junkies than high school kids, and this is the plan they want to share with all of us. How nice of them.
Exactly, but at least Texas is taking their responsibilities somewhat seriously. And as I said, there is support for President Trump's idea of increasing border security through a fence, and he has taken another step towards realizing that today. And I think you made a great point. You take the money where you can, you open the government, and the next time you pass a budget, you include another $1.5 billion in there to build some more fencing, and eventually you end up getting the equivalent of what President Trump thought was necessary on the border.
Well, exactly, because they're not going to continue they, be the Democrats, stand in front of an entire budget plan. If there's $3 or $4 billion for the wall, when they routinely squander that kind of money on, rounding errors, frankly.
Well, that's what I figured you meant when you said that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't give $1, and I figure she rounds that to 7 or 9 zeros to $1 billion, the way liberals spend money. So I just assumed she meant that she didn't hardly give more than $1, which to her $1 billion, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. As they say, pretty soon you're talking about real money.
Yeah, there you go. Are you optimistic that they'll get it done, Byron? I mean, they're moving forward slowly, herky-jerky, but it feels like we're heading in the right direction at least a little bit. I'll give you the last word.
I think that President Trump, if he was not going to sign this bill, he would have to avert the shutdown. He would have signaled early and taken a hard stance on it and sent him back to work. But because he said he's looking at it and whatnot, and that he doesn't like it, but it's another step forward, and he can declare victory, I think you hit the nail on the head. He's going to declare victory, take the money he can, and avoid the government shutdown and get this done.
There you go. Byron Henry, always a pleasure. Greatly appreciated, as always.
Anytime.
Have a good time.